If you're watching this video, you're probably stuck. Maybe you're 19 and everyone's asking what you want to do with your life. Maybe you're 25 and feel like you should have it all figured out by now. Or maybe you're just tired of feeling like you're not enough because you don't have some grand calling mapped out. Well, I'm about to destroy 5 massive lies that our culture, and sometimes even the church, tells us about purpose. And trust me, lie number 4 is the one that kept me up at night for years. Hey everyone. If you're new here, this channel is all about living out your faith in the real world. No fluff, no fake perfection, just honest conversations about following Jesus in 2025. Today we're talking about purpose because honestly, the pressure to find your calling is crushing an entire generation. So let's break down these lies and replace them with some life-changing truth. And hey, if this helps you, smash that like button and let me know in the comments which lie hit you the hardest. Lie number 1, you have to have your life figured out by 21. Okay, this first lie is everywhere. Social media makes it seem like everyone your age is launching startups, getting dream jobs, or becoming influencers while you're still trying to figure out if you want cereal for dinner. Here's the truth. Moses was 80 when God called him to lead Israel. 80. David was a shepherd kid when God chose him as king, but he didn't actually become king until he was 30. Even Jesus didn't start his ministry until he was 30. Your timeline is not their timeline. God's not checking his watch going, "Oh no, Sarah's 23 and still doesn't know if she wants to be a teacher or a nurse. I guess I can't use her." That's not how this works. Jeremiah 29 verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you. The truth is, God's timing is perfect, even when it doesn't feel like it. Lie number 2, your worth equals your achievement. This lie is toxic and it's everywhere. We've been conditioned to think that our value comes from our GPA, our job title, our follower count, or how much money we make. But check this out. In Luke 10, Jesus tells Martha that Mary chose the better thing by just sitting and listening to him. Not by achieving, not by doing more, but by simply being present with Jesus. Your worth was established the moment God created you. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, not because of what you do, but because of whose you are. Think about it this way. When a parent loves their child, do they love them more when they clean their room versus when they make a mess? Of course not. The love is constant. That's how God sees you. You don't earn his love through perfect behavior, and you can't lose it through your mistakes. Romans 8 verse 38 to 39 literally says, nothing can separate you from God's love. Not failure, not uncertainty, not even your worst day. Lie number 3. Everyone else has a clear calling except you. Social media is the highlight reel, not the behind the scenes. That person posting about their dream job? They probably applied to 50 places and got rejected 49 times. That influencer talking about their calling? They might be having an identity crisis next week. Here's what I've learned. Most people are figuring it out as they go. Even Paul, who wrote half the New Testament, had moments of uncertainty. In 2 Corinthians, he talks about being perplexed and hard-pressed. Stop comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. Your story is still being written. Lie number 4. If it's your calling, it should feel easy. This is the lie that messed me up the most. I thought if something was God's will for my life, it would just flow effortlessly. Wrong. Look at literally any biblical hero. Abraham left everything he knew. Moses had a speech impediment but had to speak to Pharaoh. David faced Goliath. Esther risked her life to save her people. None of that was easy. Your calling isn't necessarily what comes naturally, it's what God equips you for. Sometimes he calls you to things that stretch you, challenge you, and require you to depend on him completely. I know someone who felt called to start a podcast about faith, but he had a stutter and was terrified of public speaking. Every recording session was a struggle. He'd have to do multiple takes, his voice would shake, and he almost quit a dozen times. But you know what? That vulnerability is exactly what connected with his audience. People related to someone who wasn't polished or perfect. His weakness became the exact place where God's strength showed up. And now he's helping thousands of people through his story. Lie number 5. You only have one calling. This might blow your mind, but you don't have just one calling. You have callings, plural. You're called to be a follower of Jesus. You might be called to be a friend, a student, a future spouse, a parent. You might be called to serve in your church, to use your gifts in your career, to be a light in your workplace. Paul was called to be an apostle, but he was also a tent maker. Lydia was called to be a businesswoman and a church leader. Your identity isn't limited to one box. Maybe you're called to be a nurse who shows God's love to patients. Maybe you're called to be a teacher who creates safe spaces for kids. Maybe you're called to be an entrepreneur who runs their business with integrity. Stop putting God in a box. He's creative enough to use you in multiple ways. So what now? Okay, so if these are lies, what's the truth? Here are 3 things you can do right now. First, start where you are. You don't need a grand revelation to begin serving God. Look around. How can you love people today? How can you use your gifts right now, even in small ways? Second, get comfortable with uncertainty. Faith means trusting God even when you can't see the whole staircase. Take the next step, even if it's small. Third, remember that your primary calling is to love God and love people. Everything else flows from that. If you're doing those 2 things, you're walking in purpose. Listen, I know this pressure to figure out your purpose feels overwhelming, but God is not stressed about your timeline. He's not disappointed in your uncertainty. He's not waiting for you to get it all together before he can use you. You are loved, you are chosen, and you are called right now exactly as you are. If this video helped you, hit that like button and subscribe for more real talk about faith and life. Drop a comment and tell me which lie you needed to hear debunked today. And remember, your story is still being written, and God's got the pen.